back with another video here. This time it's a Dawnbreaker. We're actually with 3 of my own guildies that are in here. Silver, Kratno, and Brazuka. So the only other person in here that is going to be the other civilian with us is Grimbot. He's a completely random pug that we picked up, just a good hunter. So getting right into it immediately, pre-potting the pole here is actually incredibly useful because you're almost right into combat immediately. Nothing in particular that we need to take. The only thing that really hurts a ton in this dungeon are the curses and bleeds, of which we can't really totally get rid of, except for the curse that I will go over. It's really simple. So going into this first pull, first thing I do is I rip wings, just because there's going to be a lot of damage going out and staying on my kick target. So the one thing, if you start to get into higher keys over and over and over, you need to start to get your kick priorities straightened out right away. Meaning, pick a marker if you're assigned auto marker, or if you have an assigned auto marker week, or if you don't have one, please get one. It is the most helpful thing you will ever have in any dungeon while pushing Mythic Plus of any level, no matter what. If you're doing 10s, if you're doing 12s, if you're doing 14s, if you're doing 15s, it doesn't matter. You need to have an auto marker. And then assign yourself one, basically. The premise would be pick a star marker, pick the circle marker, pick whatever. I always pick star marker because it typically is one of the few that gets sent out immediately. If there's only like 2 or 3 markers in the group, star marker seems to be the one that gets picked. I always say that one is the one that I'm sitting on. So again, in there, I just rip wings for the first one. I save some of my infusions here while we go in, just because while Silver is gathering the mobs, I know that he's going to be taking a ton of damage. You saw me save Lumithars, and you saw me actually pop another pot there. The only time that I actually use Virtue is during that window right there, where the Tormenting Ray from one of the commanders is coming out. Stygian Seed, I'm actually looking to almost automatically dispel that as fast as humanly possible, and then keeping Night Bolts kicked. The most dangerous overlap in any of these packs when you're first starting is anytime that there is an AoE going out and a bolt is going to go off at the same time. That is the only way that I have found that you will probably die if they are either not topped off or not using a personal. The Stygian Seed is the other thing. You watch that I see the cast going out. Boom, I'm going to go flick dispel that as fast as possible. Priority heal him, back up to full. And again, ripping Virtue and using your infusion procs. Your infusion procs here, you'll see me save them a lot of times, especially as we're going from group to group. But I'm saving them because I know that as we go into that group, I'm going to burn them almost immediately right off the bat. Other than that, you see me rip my Awakening proc there. Was what it was. I probably shouldn't have used it, but I knew that we had a little bit left, and I saw that he was going to use that right there. So I had 3, 2, 1 left on it. So I guess at the end of the day, sure, it wasn't necessarily a horrific use of my Awakening proc. Pro tip. If you are going to go onto these boats and you're sick and tired of falling through, land on the boat. Make sure that both of your feet are on the boat and then dismount. Or some people have said dismount midair. I've seen both tricks. The only thing that you need to keep kicked in here, I see people kick the web bolts all the time. This isn't necessarily super confirmed, so somebody can double check me in the comments whether this is true or not. Those web bolts only go on the tank. I've seen it through like 3 Dawnbreakers in a row now. At the 12 level, at the 10 level, at the 14 level, and soon at the 15 level. We'll get another one of those posted here soon. Those web bolts only go on the tank. So the only thing you need to keep kicked on this right side ship pack is the night bolts that are going out. Your priority heal as the healer in the group here is to keep the person who has that web on them alive. Usually, if you can ask them, if you see that you have like nothing to catch up really quickly, you can ask them to use a health potion, health stone, health pot, whatever. The bursting cocoon right there is what I'm talking about. You see that go out, and then I immediately start sinking everything into this person to keep them up as best as I can. Outside of that, you'll see me send some infusion procs into them or save some. And then we go from side to side. We are running Lumithars in here, so I will cover some of the times in the windows that I use Lumithars. I use it very strategically in this dungeon because I know that there are really specific packs that are incredibly dangerous to me. There's usually a lot of weird overlaps. So in here now, you'll see me kick the actual web mage. This is the time where, yes, you can go ahead and kick it. Although, yes, it's only casting on the tank, it just gets rid of excessive damage because as paladins, we don't handle bleeds very well because we can't dispel them, and the only means of removing them is either by Dwarf Racial or by using Bop. Obviously, please don't bop your tank in the middle of the pole unless you want to wipe. So we're kicking that. Outside of that, I'm just focus healing my web mage, the bursting cocoon target, and I'm only healing the tank. Basically, are the only two things. Other than that, I'm just sending additional holy powers charges into Shields of the Righteous just to get some extra damage on it. But really, as you saw there too, he didn't use a personal, didn't use anything else. I think he only used Karma was the only thing that he used there. It still hurts. Those on a 14, and soon we'll get one posted up of a 15, and soon a 16 soon as well. We're working on finishing out like the last two 14s. We'll be into some of our 15s and 16s soon. That hurts. So use a personal on it. Help your healers. Don't give them a headache. First boss we are incredibly powerful for, and you'll see here immediately why. Our virtue windows line up brilliantly with the dispel dot overheal shield, or the shield that you have to heal off into the burst. It's insanely powerful, but you have to time it just right. So Obsidian Beam comes out. This, you see me, I don't pop Beacon of Virtue here because I know that Burning Shadows, the actual dot dispel, is going to come off soon. Just play catch up naturally here. You have enough time to do it. You saw everybody's all the way back up already. I sent a Divine Pull and that was it. So you saw me there. I pre-popped Lumithars, dispelled, and then flipped into Beacon of Virtue. Burning your infusion procs there in that window, or getting rid of, if you have too much holy power and you're going to overcap on it, burn them into that Beacon of Virtue window. So you see Beacon of Virtue's coming back up. I flicked a spell, Beacon of Virtue, burning infusion, burning infusion, burning infusion, boom. Everybody's topped right back up. Obviously, during this phase, please don't touch the purple beam. The only other thing that you need to be mindful in this is at that 50% marker is either to use wings or not use wings. You'll see me use it right here because I see it. There's 12% left. I know that it's going to be over soon. So do that. I pop wings, pop virtue, burn a bunch of my Rising Sunlights, burn a bunch of my Word of Glory or Eternal Flames, and I burn a bunch of my infusion charges again because I know in 4%, 3%, 2%, we're going to have to go flying. So I only have 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds left on Avenging Wrath. Okay, I feel fine with that. I feel like that actually got good use. I know that when I'm coming back, I'm going to have the Solar Wrath proc as well. There already it is my 2 Dawn Lights that come out, so that's going to be kind of nice. And I'll have an Awakening proc that's already stored up as well, because I'm at 14. I'll hit my 15 stacks as soon as we come back. My 2 Dawn Lights are still there, so I'm going to burn a few of those into our tank and then into the rest of our party here. So there it goes. I'm waiting on my Awakening proc. I know that this is coming here really soon. I see it. Burning Shadows goes out. I flick Dispel, burnt my Awakening proc, hit it, hit Holy Prism, and poof, everybody's back up and alive. That window is the only window that is dangerous on this boss, outside of watching your feet and making sure that you're not sticking into puddles. If you have a good tank, we have a fantastic tank. Silver always is trying to position this really, really strongly. If you have a good tank, there's another Lumithar's use. Again, do it pre to all of it and then pop it, please. Don't try and play catch up with it. Positioning-wise, our Hunter and our Shaman are baiting these puddles out for us so that the 3 of us in melee can just stay in there. If you are using Lumithars, back to that really quickly because I know that I missed that for a second. If you are using Lumithars, you want to make sure that you use it before that Burning Shadow goes out, then flick Dispel, then Virtue, ramp back into it, and get everybody topped off as fast as humanly possible. There's Karma. Good Karma use right there because it's going to burst. It's going to do a bunch of ticking damage on him. I don't even burn anything there just because of the overlap was weird. I just burned some infusion procs, and then all of a sudden, boss is dead. Absolutely nuke the boss. Next area is going to be probably the most interesting area that you guys are going to see. We do it in a little weird order. First thing we do, we actually go inside here. Pro tip, don't go up the stairs. You'll pull the mini boss and then you'll get slapped into the face of the earth. I've seen this happen to so many random pugs as you go in and then you start to gather everybody. Some people choose to play the outside 2 groups together. Some people choose to play this stair group and the mini boss together. There's no right or wrong, I guess, at least in a 14 or a 15. The only thing you have to do as a healer here is being mindful of how many tank melee swing stacks. You see them going up on our tank right now. Be mindful of how many they have, so save, sack, bubble stack for later, and then your priority target healings. So you see me there burn Lumithars, because I notice I need to catch up and I don't want to use Virtue quite yet. Those dots, those curse dots, are the only thing that are your major concern going into this. Is number 1, keeping those people up as best as you can and using Virtue on those windows. When you see it go off, the next time I see it has 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 seconds left on it, I'm not going to use it to catch up. I will use it here though, because a new set of them just went right back out. So you can kind of predict them. It's from the caster. It's from the mini boss that they go out from, the Abyssal Blast dots that they go out. You just saw another one go out. That's the only thing that you need to be concerned with this mini boss. The other mini bosses, we'll talk about those. Those are a little bit more cheeky that you need to be kind of cutesy with in how you burst heal people back up, and using either your Divine Toll, using your Holy Prism, and your Beacon of Virtue, or Mastery Wings. Those are things you need to be a little bit cuter with. You see me staying out of melee here. My global, with the amount of haste that I have, is effectively the same as a Crusader Strike, except Flash of Light in this instance does healing, and Crusader Strike does no healing. It's a little bit of the way that I play in Raid anyways, so if you hate the fact that I'm not sitting in melee, alright, that's fine. I'm not necessarily super concerned with the amount of damage that I'm doing on some of these pulls. So after this, you see me kind of stay here for a second. That is the one thing, too, that'll kill you, is some of the Abyssal Blast dots. Somebody will get the dot and then go try and fly off. Please yell at them if they do that. It is not your fault if they die, because they decided to mount up and fly away. We always pull this group onto the wood platform here. There's some weird optics that goes on when it overlaps into the grass. It will sometimes not show those black shadows, those like pools that are there. So pro tip for your tank: if your tank refuses to pull it onto this area, please just mention to them that like there is an actual problem with it. Those stacks that are going on our tank again is the only thing you need to worry about, and then you see the 2 Abyssal Blast dots. There's nothing really specific or cutesy again in any of these packs that I'm concerned with until I hit the next mini boss. I believe the next mini boss we go to is the Orb one here. Yeah, because I see that heroism or our lust timers coming right off, and so I know that number one, I need to save wings. I need to save something for them. I just know that I need to save something big, because there's one specific overlap that I will mention when we get there that is your one and only freaking concern while on the Orb mini boss. Otherwise, welcome to me just dancing around, doing a bunch of shenanigans, beating the crap out of a bunch of mobs. There's nothing special going on here, guys. Okay. So we'll finish up here. We should be mounting up. We see Lust is off. I think he's... Oh yeah, this is when we train turn and go, and then we see that he did the other mobs first. And I told him that, hey, this is actually really beneficial if we just stay here and do these two. Our shaman was wanting us to do the other ones, and I saw that these two were doing these. So kudos to them for living. We just did a poor job of communicating. But when we come back here, the one thing, like I said, is having wings up. This actually benefits me, because I'd mentioned something before the poll. I was like, hey, I need to have wings for this next pack. If we're doing mini orb boss, we're doing the heroism. And he saw this. It wasn't up, but then one of the other people in our group was actually mentioning, hey, let's just go straight to the orb boss. So did we kind of int ourselves? I'm not sure. We timed this really easily. There's nothing of major concern here, so I don't know if we inted ourselves. It was just a communication error. Here, again, I'm only kicking prio targets. Like I mentioned really early on, I always have star marker. That's always my thing. I'll sometimes call swamps if I see that there's like one major thing going off. Usually my star marker, for some reason, likes to gravitate or magnetize to like the volley kicks. I'm not sure if that's something that I actually personally control in my weak aura. I just have it set to default settings. Any sort of auto marker will do, just so long as you know which marker and you communicate to your group. Like, hey, I'm going to have circle marker. Hey, I'm going to have star or skull marker every single time. Just know beforehand, and then please, please, please communicate it, because you just saw right there an easy breakdown of communication could have cost us a key super fast. And now we're into my favorite or my least favorite boss or mini boss of all time. I freaking hate this. There are 2 scary overlaps. The first one is the Nightbolt. Nightbolt while the explosion goes off, and the Abyssal Blast dot and the orb going off. So you see there, I actually had 2 dots on me at the same time, and you see I have Hand of Freedom. Freedom will actually remove one of the curses. You see here, that burst goes off. That was where I had used wings previous. Right as that pop goes off, there's actually an Abyssal Blast that comes out at the exact same time. And the first tick of it goes off at the exact same time that hit typically happens. So that's the only area and the only time that you need to be super careful and concerned with. Other than that, let's talk about that curse that I removed. So it is not the Abyssal Blast one. It is the one that comes from one of these other mobs. I don't think it's the tactician. I think it's the actual mage that it comes from. It technically has a movement impair on it, and so because of that, Hand of Freedom can actually remove it. Anything else like any other movement impairing or movement repair removals will actually work as well for it. So if the rest of your group has some root breaks or anything like that, please let them know. Your priority healing targets. While you were in this group, you saw me. Rizuka, in this instance, our monk, had the dot on him while the orb was going out. That is your priority target. Use Virtue if you need to keep them up, but otherwise, Virtue for the rest of the group, just to bring everybody else back up. Our poor monk also ran into a mob there. R.I.P. Rizuka. It's alright, we all laughed about it. So we're waiting here, we're waiting for him to come back. We're going to go down into the last mini-boss here. This one only has one really gnarly, nasty overlap, and it's the AoE burst that it does. Your focus targets are obviously... You have no kicks here, but you're focus healing the dot on people, and then the burst right there. So the first burst came out, Beacon of Virtue went out, Lumithars went out. Those are the two things that I'd keep myself concerned with. Otherwise, the rest of this pull is super chill. There's nothing else really going on. You just see me, I'm just focus healing our one. There's only one dot that goes out. The one person with the dot, and then as soon as the Ascendant is what it is, yeah, the next Abyssal Blast here, that's the one that I'm targeting. It's the mini-boss. It'll cast the Shadow Decay AoE burst. It's a 3-second burst. I think it is like 4 total ticks. Virtue window way outlasts it, so I wait kind of for the first tick to go off, just so long as nobody's in a like major danger, so that way I get the Pillars of Light heal up from Beacon of Virtue, and then I just burn any infusion procs. If you're trying to save infusion procs, Divine Toll, or Holy Prism, that's your time to use it, is during that point in time. Beacon of Virtue, then rip into infusion procs or anything else like that. If you're trying to save some Dawn Lights, I think my Dawn Light targets are typically just whoever has the dot. The additional healing on them is actually gigabusted. Other than that, please stay out of the frontal. Use a personal when you get the dot on them. Communicate to your team if you don't have anything else. If they need to use personals, darkness, rally, all of those good things. As soon as this clears up, I think we have a few more mobs we choose to play, actually, like on the bridge. This is that dot that I was talking about, is make sure that you communicate to the person that they don't take off. He took off. You saw it got him down to like 30-40%, but always make sure to heal them. So we play this next one up here. We call it like tower area. Your only kick priority. I actually saw that Rizuka and Kretna were both on stars, so I switched to circle. The only thing you really need to be focused on here is kicking that repeating cast of Tormenting Beam. Use your blinds, use your Hodge, kick the Umbral Barrier. That's the next big one that you need to make sure to kick, is just following that. The tracker should be on for it too. On Plater, at least, that is. You should have a tracker. If you're using some other plating or Plater UI, it should also be tracking the Umbral Barrier. Kicking that Umbral Barrier probably takes a little bit more precedence than the Tormenting Beams, just because the Tormenting Beams on a 14 or 15 don't do a massive amount of damage. They're just annoying when mixed with other shit. The Umbral Barrier just puts a nice big shell on the mobs and makes the pull take longer. So we'll play this group, and then I'm pretty sure we go... So we play tower, and then we play bridge. Yep, here we go. Okay, so we go to the bridge over top of the last boss. We choose to play up here, and we don't choose to play down below because of how congested it can get. You have a lot more room to play up here and a lot less annoying shit to deal with. The only thing you have to deal with is the black hail that comes out, and it can get a little buggy up here because there's lots of different levels. We talked about how the like wooden like bridge area down below after the first mini boss versus the grass will show the black hail differently. The same thing exists here. As you see, there are multiple levels, and so because of the Z-axis clipping, it messes with it just a little bit. Only things that are scary here: Tormenting Beams getting targeted on people, and Abyssal Dots. Abyssal Dots are your priority heals. If you have 2, 3, you saw right there, there's 4 that went out at the same time. That's the time I use Lumithars. That's the time I'm using Beacon of Virtue. If there's only 2 out, I'm not really concerned about it. As you saw right there, I actually got clipped by one of the black hails. I actually looked back in my logs. It's that clipping that I was talking about. It's why you need to be really careful with this area. Didn't kill me, got lucky, but again, just be mindful of it. Take the extra space, go the extra mile, get way away from it. Dodge the frontals, kick the mobs you need to kick. These are all super straightforward packs. There's nothing complex about these. There's nothing I'm massively concerned about here, but again, if you see two of the dots go out, it's not a major concern. Just prioritize healing them. Just prio heal them. If you see the 4, because you get a 2 and 2 overlap when we play this, it's technically like a 3-pack. When you do that, you need to push Virtue. All right, second boss. There are 2 sketchy ones. The first is on Orb 4, and the second one is on Orb 8, I believe. If you get to Orb 8, there's a problem, or you're like dealing with like a 16, 17, 18. You're doing something that higher than I'm doing right now. And I'll explain what I mean. That's Orb 1. Right here, you see me. Everybody is down in health, and I am not using Virtue yet. I used Virtue right there. The reason, I know that AoE is coming up, and I need Beacon of Virtue to last the entire time through it so I can catch back up. Do not send Beacon of Virtue on the initial burst. Just make sure that everyone is topped back up. So what I mean right here, this is my thought process. This orb is going out. I'm making sure everybody is topped off. So long as everybody is topped off, we're good to go. Now I'm going to catch up. This is my catch-up phase. I need to burn, flash of light, get everybody up as fast as possible. I Lumithar's there and Beacon of Virtue. Why? Because I know that Pillars of Light is going to do healing. My Lumithars will keep me protected. And then I need to rip into the boss and get as much holy power generated and as many Effusion of Light procs and as many Words of Glory or Eternal Flames out as possible. Again, another one goes out here. You watch me. Don't burn Virtue there. If you burn Virtue there, you will let somebody rot on the actual Shadow Decay. Pretty sure this kills people. Yep, that kills people. So, fast one here. I actually flip, and res both. Here comes another frontal. I tell them to wait and stay dead because I know that the rest of us will live this. And then I rip. Do I rip wings here? Yeah, I rip wings here just to make sure that everybody stays alive. That one was actually the scary one too, because it will be the ball hitting or the orb and the actual Shadow Decay at the same time. So like I said, that was number 4. That's the only sketchy one. So you'll get the orb and the Shadow Decay at the exact same time. The reason why that one is sketchy, you need to send the farm on that one. So if it's like Aura Mastery, Wings, Virtue, all of it needs to be sent on that one because you have 2 back-to-back ticks and you have to play catch-up ultra fast. Otherwise, the rest of the boss is giga easy, like I said. Here's another Shadow Decay. I wait for it. Virtue, keep everybody up. Virtue into Divine Toll, Virtue into Prism, Virtue with Lumithars, pre-casted. All of those are perfectly fine. But the sync it's number 4. It's Orb number 4 there where we had lost 2 people previously. It wasn't because of anything else. It was just poor tank positioning, but the tank positioning was because, if you notice, the ads were out of place. Our Hunter was way out of place. And here's 8 right here that we're going to have to play. Here's another Shadow Decay plus Orb. This overlap, the spell queuing, I think, is incorrect because it should be Shadow Decay and then he casts Orb. Yep, there it is. Okay, there's the Shadow Decay. Yeah, the spell queuing's incorrect. You see me almost die there. Bad on me, shame on me. I pushed my health pot, though. Yay, I lived. You'll see me hold Holy Power here, too, because I know that somebody's going to get hit with something. As soon as this orb goes off, boom, and then bring everybody back up. Poor Shaman, he stood in the thing. So, don't stand in the thing, okay? Yeah, don't do that. All right, we're at 93.91. I think it's like 7% or something like that is what this last mob gives us. Let me double check when I get up here because I'll click on it. Yeah, there you go. It is close to like 6.7%. This mob has only one scary and one only scary thing at all, and it is that little burst right there. It's the pre-spread followed by 5 seconds of ticking damage. Funny enough, the Tormenting Eruption, watch what happens. We get spread, hit Beacon of Virtue, boom, slap it. That is your one and only time where you should be ripping Beacon of Virtue during this poll, is specifically on the Tormenting Eruptions. So these go back out. One's on the tank, one's on me. Hey, bonus points for that. Other than that, please just keep the mobs kicked as best as you can. Don't let the umbral barriers go off. A Tormenting Beam or Night Bolt during the middle of this will 2-tap somebody if they are low enough. But as you see there, because it's only 2 prior targets and we run Beacon of Virtue at the same time, it's not much of a concern. And last person here, again, Beacon of Virtue, Divine Toll up, Burn Infusion procs, use Burn and Rising Sunlight proc. It's really the only scary parts of this. The last boss too only has one scary window, and you probably already know what it is, and it's during the actual the bursting followed by rot dot damage. It's the only area that's actually sketchy, and you have plenty of time to catch up after the rot is done. But you kind of reap the benefits of using Beacon of Virtue slightly later after the first tick, and I'll explain it in a sec. So we're right into Rashanan, we're right into the boss. Frontal goes out. Frontals are your prior healing targets to make sure that they are completely topped off. If they're really, really low, it can sometimes get them into a sketchy position if they're going right into the AoE. So the AoE goes out here. I wait for the first tick to go off, and then I use Beacon of Virtue. I want to get as much as I can out of those Pillars of Light. See me running around like a chicken with my head cut off because I'm checking for the additional bombs. Again, look at that. I'm wanting to top off my Toxic Wave target. I want to make sure that they stay alive. AoE is about to come back out. You'll see me. I'm preloading a bunch of Holy Power. I'm going to wait here, and I watch that first tick go off, and then I Virtue right into Lumithars immediately to protect everybody. Again, you see me. I'm looking at my one target. There we go. Boom. Everybody's alive. Good to go. And we're moving on almost immediately. Intermission here. Nothing special. Just find where you're flying. Don't die to darkness. Don't be that person. I've seen people die to that. Don't be that person. Actually, I'm like looking at myself in my clip here. I'm drinking some water. I think I'm drinking a Diet Coke. Yeah, I'm drinking a Diet Coke in my water. Awesome. That's how serious we take this phase. You see me follow him for a little bit because I'm bored. I get the orbs just to make sure. I don't like to play things very sketchily. So we get here. You see me. The only thing that I'm doing here, I'm being cheeky about something, and it's my pre-awakening procs. That's all I'm trying to do. I have nearly 100% mana. I'm not going to run out of mana anytime soon, so why not just like pre-pull it? I have an Anshi proc as well. It's not going to go off until later, so you just see me here pre-building again, pre-building again, pre-building again over and over. We kick the Acidic Eruption almost immediately. Shame on the hunter. Wait next time. Outside of that, here's the next sketchy part. Toxic Wave is sketchy. Prior target, heal them up as fast as possible. Next sketchy part, cocoons right here. You want to make sure these people are, 1, topped up. 2, you send and you have pre-generated holy power. You send eternal flames into them as fast as possible to tick them back up. Because the cocoon, as you just saw there, stings a lot. AoE, the burst ticking with the rot damage is the same thing as when you're on the boat. Wait for a tick to go off, send Beacon of Virtue into it. There's nothing special here. Do not use Beacon of Virtue on the 2 small prior targets. You will not have Beacon of Virtue back up by the AoE time. So here come my webs right here. The erosive spray is coming out in 10 seconds. So again, like I said, you wouldn't have it up. You'd be 5 seconds in. The full burst would be off by that point because it's a 15-second cooldown. If you'd have used it there to keep those 2 up, which you can't, I mean, you can use it there. Just right now, you wouldn't be having it. It'd be right now. You'd just be getting it. So you would have had to have been healing all 3 of those initial bursts from the Acidic Eruption or the erosive spray tick. You would have had to heal all 3 of those or 4 of those natty, which is not what you want to do. So again, I hold it. I get my person back up. That's my prior target from the Toxic Wave. I identify my 2 cocoon people, and I like to precast like a Holy Light or a Flash of Light if I'm not going to completely overcap. I do it just so that way when the initial tick of damage goes out, I'm keeping them up. Otherwise, here's some wings. Here's some Beacon of Virtue that I didn't use. I don't know why I didn't. I just figured, hey, I would just keep wings and see how it does. You see me extend it with that Awakening proc. Don't do what I did. It was really stupid of me. I was just testing things. Don't test it in a 14. Test it somewhere else. Again, here we go. It's going to come back up. Here is the next AoE. You're going to see me save some infusion proc, that additional infusion proc here. I'm going to Lumithars into an infusion, followed by Virtue. Boom, keep everybody up. You saw me get my Solar Wrath proc, so now I have a bunch of Dawn Lights. So I'm going to spread those Dawn Lights out as best as I can, and we're done. really, this whole dungeon happens so quickly. There's just really tiny little windows in which you need to be like modestly concerned with yourself. You just need to be very liberal about the use of specific cooldowns during specific windows. There's a lot of like weird downtimes, and it's gonna feel like you're just like hard spike healing, non-hard spike healing. Other than that, there's my talent tree for it. I take a non-disease dispel for that one. Really, I do that because I'm not necessarily, there's nothing else we can dispel in there. The only other different dispels that we have, there isn't an actual like disease one in there. The only ones we can dispel in there are the magic ones, the Stygian Seed at the very beginning, and then the Hand of Freedom one that we can do, that is an actual curse. Outside of that, they're just curse ones, and then they are bleeds. So we're not super well built for dispelling those dots. It is what it is, just heal through it, buck up. And otherwise, if you like, again, all of this content, we've been coming out with some newer content. We've been doing just the heroic videos. We're doing now all of the mythic rating videos. And we're doing the commentary for all of these as well. If you like these, like, comment, and subscribe, and just leave a comment down below too. If you really do like this, if you want to see more of these, or if you want me to do some commentary of some of the mythic bosses, please just leave a comment down below. I would be happy to go over thought processes, breaking down as well, specifically how we do the healing sheets for those mythic bosses. I know that's always a point of contention for a lot of people. For Valor Blue, I actually do all of the healing sheets with a few of the members from our team. I'm usually in control of like 99% of it, and then I leave it up to our healers to start to make different like audibles. Different audibles and everything with it as we're in the middle of it. So I come in with like a predetermined schedule of like, hey, this is how I think we're going to handle this encounter, and then we just morph it as we go. So if you want something like that, just leave a comment down below, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.